Hello YouTube, this is Cameron here with my first top 10 video. Today I'll be discussing my list for the top 10 scariest horror movies. Let's begin. Alright, for number 10, I put Alien 1 and 2. Here are my reasons. The facehugger of the alien can wrap around your face and will knock you out due to the lack of oxygen and breathing and can plant an alien egg inside of you. And the alien has a second jaw and has that uses it for its final killing blow, and it has concentrated acid from the blood. And once the egg is inside your chest and ready, it will explode out of the chest, killing the host. And the baby alien will be born. Now the alien can hide in dark places and vents. It can crawl on any surface. And the movie takes place in outer space in the future. Picture you and just a few other people being alone with those things in space where no one can hear you scream. Now number 9 is Stephen King's Cujo. Cujo is about a Saint Bernard dog who is probably the sweetest puppy you'll ever meet. That is until he contracts rabies from being bitten by a bat. This is one of Stephen King's more realistic stories and can show you how scary the guy can be while at the same time being realistic. Now, after the loving dog contracts rabies, he kills most people in a very small town. And now picture this happening to your dog. You'd probably be terrified. Stephen King is the reason why you may or may not be afraid of dogs. No offense to him. He's pretty darn awesome. Number 8 is Scream. Taking the spot from number 8 is a film Scream made by the late Wes Craven. A teenage girl is home alone waiting for her boyfriend while her parents are out and is about to watch a horror flick when a stranger calls telling her that he's in the house, and she looks out the window to see her boyfriend tied up and then has to answer the murderer's questions correctly. Failing one question, she watches her boyfriend get his stomach cut open. Then she runs out, eventually getting killed herself. The murders continue as the killer calls other teenagers, letting them know that he's with them and will kill them too. Nowadays, you might not want to answer the phone and talk to the person if you don't know who it is. Alright, for number 7, the original series of Friday the 13th. Though it may not be the scariest horror movie, this classic slasher film will give you thrills and leave you with at least a few good screams. It starts with the mother of Jason Voorhees, which is basically her dead son, when she kills any camper that arrives at Camp Crystal Lake, which is actually the camp that Jason attended as a child, and she basically goes nuts after her son's death. And after the mother is killed, Jason is resurrected and takes the helm for the rest of the franchise. Now it's Jason who stalks Camp Crystal Lake, killing anyone who arrives. That is until he finds out who did him wrong, so he can kill them. And the reason behind his mother's killing is actually the fact that Jason drowned due to bullying, while the staff didn't pay attention and stayed made out and made love. Campers beware. Taking the spot for number 6 is Nightmare on Elm Street, the original series, that is. Yet another hit film series by the great late Wes Craven is a nightmare slasher about child murderer Freddy Krueger. After the parents of the children who were murdered by Freddy had killed Freddy and watched him burn, no joke, and Freddy had come back with new terrifying powers that allowed him to haunt the dreams of children, to kill them in their dreams, which ended up causing them to die in real life. And Freddy decided to use his power to exact revenge for his death, and kids were falling asleep and they were never waking up. Everyone was afraid to sleep. If you watch this, you may never sleep again. LOL. Taking the spot for number 5 is another Stephen King movie called It. This terrifying horror film, based on the novel It by Stephen King, is still regarded as one of the scariest horror movies to this day. It starts with little Georgie murdered, and his older brother soon discovers why. And then his new friends, along with him, encounter the creature that did it, known as Pennywise the Dancing Clown, who can read their minds to find out what they're most afraid of and turn into exactly that. The 7 children defeated this monster, or so they thought, and the monster resurfaced 30 years later, but took the form of a giant spider rather than a clown. After one of the old friends discovers that it killed another child, every one of them gathered to kill this monster once and for all. Stephen King is the reason why you're afraid of clowns. Rock on, Stephen King. Taking the spot for number 4 is the Hannibal Lecter trilogy. And though it's not said to be a horror movie, you will find Anthony Hopkins at his best, giving you chills, thrills, and many cringing moments and disgusting moments throughout. In these classic films, Anthony Hopkins plays a serial killer cannibal known as Hannibal Lecter. The story begins in Red Dragon, although the film started with Silence of the Lambs. That actually begins in Red Dragon for the novels. In Red Dragon, he is discovered as a cannibal eating victims that the police couldn't find and is locked up in a mental asylum. The story continues in The Silence of the Lambs, where Hannibal makes a deal with FBI agent Clarice Starling. You'd know that if you watch the movies. And he makes a deal so that she can solve a murder mystery in exchange for him being locked up somewhere more peaceful. But he eventually escapes anyway by eating his people to get out. No surprise there. And it concludes with the movie Hannibal. Clarice, the one who made the deal with Hannibal in the last movie, once again meets Hannibal when someone puts a price on the notorious serial killer. And Hannibal continues to eat others, and Clarice soon discovers that Hannibal is in love with her, but he soon escapes and they never see each other again, unfortunately. Nobody knew what Hannibal looked like. Be careful, you never know if you meet a cannibal. Nom nom nom. Taken from the spot for number 3 is yet again another Stephen King movie called The Children of the Corn. This is a movie that will scare adults and children alike. Taking the spot for third place is yet again another Stephen King film based on one of his short stories, actually. It's about children in Nebraska who misinterpret the Bible and go on a killing spree, killing every adult in the town, including their own parents. They follow a child called Isaac, and they hide the bodies in a cornfield. A few years later, a married couple are traveling to stop in Nebraska for gas. But the kids disable their car and plan to use the adults for a sacrifice, actually. Now, if you want to know everything, you have to watch the movie yourself. Taking the spot for number 2 is the Final Destination series. Though these films are considered horror, they are guaranteed to have jump scares and give anyone paranoia for quite a while. Each film is about an individual teenager who can foresee the death of themselves and others, and they each try to prevent themselves from going to the place or situation in which they die. Everyone dies except for one, basically the one foresees death, and sometimes another. But even after that, they soon learn that no matter what, nothing can escape the grasp of death, and later on, they themselves die as well. Taking the spot on my number 1 list is The Conjuring. I fully guarantee, no doubt, literally, that this terrifying film based on the remarkable true story that happened in Rhode Island will make you scream more than you want to, will give you it might give you nightmares, and will leave you with at least one late on at night. The parent family just moved into their dream house and absolutely loved it, until they find out that it is haunted by a real-life poltergeist and terrorizes the 3 daughters of the family. Now, the Warren family, who was one of the world's best paranormal investigators, come in to help, but soon the families face much larger issues. They each face their own issues. And the mother of the parent family is actually possessed by the poltergeist, and the only help are 2 other kind-hearted ghosts and a priest. I highly recommend not watching this alone. I did that once and it was a big mistake. Alright, guys, thank you for watching the video. I'm sorry if my speech wasn't clear, that's why I put words there. And please subscribe, and feel free to put anything in the comment section below if you want me to make a top 10 list of anything else. Alright, thank you for watching.